Well, ladies and dudes, it is time for another movie review. And this movie review is a perfect way to celebrate Halloween. It has something to do with this one cool dude who is half man and half vampire. No. I am not talking about Blade. I know there was all three Blade films. But nope, I'm talking about a 2D hand-drawn animation character that came from anime. And this half-breed dude who's half man, half vampire, this guy rules! That's for sure! Well, anyway, hi ladies and dudes. This is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobop197. This is my review for today. And today's review, ladies and dudes, well, my friends, it's that time again for another great movie review. And I know I haven't thought about that idea for a very, very long time. If I will do another anime movie review. And it's a perfect way to celebrate Halloween. Oh, heck yeah. And this is one of these anime movies I did see a long time ago, back when I was 19 years old, and I did see it on YouTube. I can't remember if it's the full-fledged movie or just one that involves parts. Well, whatever it is, I did see this movie. And that is Vampire Hunter D. Bloodlust. And this is one of the movies I really do want to check out. Because it looks pretty darn interesting, and this character is pretty darn cool to look at. Yeah, a vampire hunter named D. Well, I guess he likes the letter D. I'll accept that, if you know what I mean. So, let's get this whole thing started on my next movie review of Vampire Hunter D. Bloodlust. Woo! I'm sorry, I'm not a good scarer. Well, let's get this whole thing started. So, the movie is all about this vampire hunter dude named D, who is half human and half vampire. He is going on a quest, and yeah, he has to make dudes with the rich dude who gave him money and all that stuff to look for the rich dude's daughter, because this rich dude's daughter got kidnapped by some type of unknown vampire that came out of nowhere. But D is not the only one who needs to find this rich dude's daughter. It's some group of hunters that came out of nowhere also want to, go on to this mission and find the rich dude's daughter as well. Just a group of hunters. Yeah, one of the hunters is a guy who likes to be a ghost, if you know what I mean. So, will D and this hunter people will ever find that rich dude's daughter all the time and try to take care of that vampire dude once and for all? Who, I have no idea. Is he a bad guy or just a misunderstood dude? Well, you gotta see this movie for yourselves. That's all I could say about the main plot of this story. And I guess everybody wants to know is, what the heck do I think about this movie? Well, to tell you the truth, ladies and dudes, it's a very good movie to watch. I enjoyed this movie from start to finish. I think one of the most underrated anime films I have ever seen my whole entire life. And you know me, I'm a big fan of underrated movies, and underrated movies are my cup of tea. I want my tea superly hot, over 9,000. Yummy. So yep, I enjoyed this movie very, very much. I will say it had a pretty good storyline. It has good 2D hand-drawn animation. I love the voice cast. I only seen the English dub, but I never seen the Japanese dub. Sadly to say, it had a really good score, has good character designs, fantastic sceneries and highlight moments of the film. Yes, it's part fantasy, part horror, part action, and yeah, a little bit of romance in there. Weird thing to say. So yeah, it's an enjoyable movie to watch. And now let's head on to my strongest points and the weakest points of Vampire Hunter D: Bloodlust. I will say for the strongest points for this movie is truly the 2D hand-drawn animation. I freaking love the 2D hand-drawn animation. In this film. It's very well done. Very well detailed. I just miss 2D hand-drawn animation to death. It will be my most favorite part about animation that I love the best for so many years. But I still miss it. Even to this day. I miss 2D hand-drawn animation. I want it back for some unknown reason. I want to see that pure magic of real good films that featured pure epic storytelling. I mean, it really did blow me away from start to finish. Yes, I want it back. I want it back. I want it back! This is for all the this is my message for these people out there who did not do 2D hand-drawn animation for a while. Give it back! Give it back! Okay, I gotta settle down for a moment. Yep, I love 2D hand-drawn animation for this film. It's just perfectly spot on. So I will say for the strongest points for this movie is truly the 2D hand-drawn animation. And now let's go on to the weakest point of the movie. Sadly I got two. Just two. Well, every time I watch this movie, but just a few times here and there, I'm having trouble hearing the volume. And I can hear some of the dialogue here and there for this movie, and also the score is still very well high-pitched, but I'm just having trouble hearing what the characters are saying. I mean, I tried really, really hard to focus on the volumes. Yep, I'm having trouble with the volume for this film. Well, it's hard for me to explain about that one. That's for sure. So yeah, that's my first major weak point of the movie. And the second major weak point of this movie is that romance between the rich man's daughter and that vampire dude. I think the romance is a bit too forced for my taste. I mean, how the heck did that young lady want to fall in love with this vampire who's immortal? Well, it is true. There are some movies here and there where a female human falls in love with a male vampire. That did happen. Well, yeah, this romance is a bit too forced for my taste. It's hard for me to explain about what the heck I should say about love couples who fell in love way too quickly and they need to get to know each other first. In a very odd way. Hard for me to say about this one. So yeah, I will say my two main weak points of the movie is I'm having trouble with the volume for the film, and also the romance is a bit too forced for my taste. I just rather focus on the action, the horror, and the fantasy, and also try to get to know these characters for this film, if you know what I mean. And now let's go on to the characters. I'll just go with one character I do love in this movie the best, and that is Vampire Hunter D, played by this actor I really don't know of. You know, who's voicing this really cool character in the English dub. I really, really love this character. I think he's truly the best character in the whole entire movie. I love his looks, I love his design, and I really love the part where we got another character who carries a sword around his back. And Benjamin Williams is a big fan of warriors who carry swords around their backs. And yeah, I will say seeing good warriors carrying swords around their backs are truly one of the most underrated characters of all time. It says we already see warriors who always carry their swords in their left hip, but not much on the swords that was carried in the back. I know Trunks did it, Guts, Cloud, Deadpool, Blade, Cloud, and some others. But yeah, I like to see warriors who carried swords around their backs. I want to see more of them in the future for more main project themajigs to come and, you know, for later on timeline, I guess. But let's go back to D. I freaking love this character to death. He's really one of my favorite anime characters of all time. And also pay attention to this character very carefully, ladies and dudes. This is very darn important. D is truly a very calm and a very quiet character. He's so calm and yet so very quiet. He can say a few dialogues here and there, but not all that much. I mean, he always keeps his mind calm. I mean, seriously, he's a very serious character. And he knows how to take care of his job very, very seriously. And also, one last thing, he has a talking hand. How the heck did a talking hand is stuck on a young man's palm of his hand? Yeah, a weird talking face thingy-majig in his left hand. Yeah, you could say that's D's wind tunnel technique. Ah ha 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 ha. Yeah, bad joke there. But yeah, he may have a weird talking thingamajig in his left hand. But overall, I love D. He is a really cool character. And one of the best characters I have ever seen in movie history. And yes, ladies and dudes, there is an OVA of Vampire Hunter D that took place in the 1980s. I did see some of the clips of it here and there, but I have never fully watched it. If I do, maybe I'll give it a watch one of these days. But I'd rather focus on the movie version of Vampire Hunter D. I think the character design of that guy looks a whole lot better than the one that came from in the 80s, if you know what I mean. And now let's head on to my final thoughts of Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Overall, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust is really one of the most underrated anime films I have ever watched in my whole entire life, and nobody never talks about it. I will say it had a good storyline, likable characters, great 2D hand-drawn animation, good voice cast. I really love the score. I love the action scenes. It has some fantasy, some horror in it. And yeah, my major problem I have with this movie, I had a little trouble with the volume thing. and the romance was a bit too forced. If you know what I mean. And also, the best character in the whole entire movie is truly D. He rules. Big time. And so, for my rating for this film, I decided to give Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust a 9 out of 10. Please check out this movie to believe it. Yeah, this film will surprise you. Big time. So, that's my whole entire movie review of Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I hope you enjoyed this movie review. And I'm not sure what will be my next movie review that'll come out in November. I'll try to think of something to find which movie review I want to do next. And plus, I will do my movie review of that live-action version of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, odd title, don't you think? We'll wait and see what happens. So, I'll be back for my next video to come. Until then, this is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobop 187, saying sayonara!